2, 3. Welcome to another episode of Big Local Talks. And today I'm joined by Susan. How are you, Susan?
I'm fine, thank you.
Would you tell me a bit about yourself and what you do?
I am Susan Graydon. I am partnership support and volunteer broker at Gaunless Gateway Big Local, which is in South West Bishop Auckland, County Durham.
That,
And
that
I
is
am
far.
I am I am one of two workers on the Big Local.
Well, that is a bit far the area. And what what is your main job? Did you say?
I started off 2 days a week, and that was to support Barbara, who at the time was the engagement officer. So then they identified they need somebody to really help out with the backroom office stuff and take minutes and do all the other bits of stuff so that Barbara could then go off and do development work. So she's now development lead. So I started off in 2 days a week doing partnership support, but then I kept going out and people kept saying, have you got a volunteer? Do you know volunteer? Because I do a lot of volunteering myself in my own time. So then they said, well, would you do this for 8 hours a week? So now I do both roles. So keeps me busy.
So how did you start this? Like, why did you personally start this off?
Starting my role.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a complete career change about 4 years ago. I'd been working in different things and really focusing on raising my son. So I decided that as he was getting up to 15, 16, I was going to have a career, not just a job. So I'd been volunteering and thought it was great. Anyway, I decided I would go on a sort of retraining program. And through that, I ended up doing lots of different qualifications and updating English, maths, and all the different skills. And anyway, I ended up stumbling across this job. So this was the job that I'd put into. I had a 5-year plan. I was going to do loads of training and then go on to this job. But instead, I ended up doing all this training. And within 9 months, I had a different job. So it was really different to go in an office environment because my last job I was a domestic in a nursing home, so I'd always had quite manual work. So it was different kind of pressurized job. But of course, um when you in the office, I think people underestimate how much intensity it is. But it's all good stuff. But every day is different. Every day is so different.
Yeah. I'm surprised because you said you did nursing and now you've gone to
I did. I always did.
something completely different.
I always did days where you went in and your day was finished. At, you knew I worked the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or wherever job. Where this job, it's really it's broad ranging, and it can go from having a chat with somebody, meeting somebody, and then we have where I work with organisations who want volunteers, then have people that want to volunteer. So it's just so different every day, and it's a job that you can sometimes you have to really be restrained. But I'm the world's worst for chatting to somebody when I'm out and saying, "No, do you want to come and volunteer? Do you want to come and volunteer?" So you end up always it's in the back of your mind because it's a job that you're passionate about. So
Yeah. I'll tell you what was interesting. The meeting that I was in with you a long time ago about the Insight website, that was quite interesting to find out how many big locals are affected by, COVID-19. That was quite interesting. It's a really good website to
yeah,
um find. So what are the challenges with your role before I say why did you connect with us?
I think at the moment, like everybody, COVID's made it a lot different. So at the moment we've been it's can't believe it's coming up to a year that we've been working from home. So in the middle of COVID making everything so different, but we've still continued working and been very fortunate that, like a lot of big locals, we've managed to respond where other organisations have maybe had to cut down on staff, or they've closed, or furlough has been where a lot of staff haven't been able to go in. So we've been fortunate to work throughout. So it's been really busy, but of course, COVID brings its own challenges of not being able to go out and face-to-face meet, but we've never stopped working. In fact, we've been busy, and I would say we've responded quicker, because where we would maybe meet up with the decision makers, our core group, once a month, where for the first 5 months, 6 months, they were virtually getting together every week. So if people were coming forward via emails and chatting and quickly putting project proposals in and saying, right, we need this, so it could happen. So really, really quick. And in the midst of this, we went through the TUPE process. So we packed our gear up to come home, what we needed one day, and left one office, and then we've gone to new employers. And also, when we do go back to work, we'll go into a new office. So that's been a added challenge in itself, but we have been very fortunate that the people who did employ us then still the LTO with the money, and so they're still on the scene. So we still have a really good relationship with them. But also where we've gone was a community organisation, so we really had good bond with them, which is better. And we're going into the community now, where before we weren't in the community building, we were on the outside of the area, and it was a business, it was all office based. So this puts us back in where the community. So really the challenge is now to get back and sort of re-establish in a new setting, and it's exciting things to come.
Yeah. And why have you decided to connect with us?
I connected with you because you personally, I think how it come about, it was, I saw on Local Trust workplace, which was something I must admit, it was sort of workplace was there in the background, but because everyone's so busy, we don't always get a chance to probably use it as much as we could. And before COVID, obviously we knew Local Trust was there in the background, but I think they responded amazing to COVID by making sure that there was the Zoom training was put in place, and there was events on all the time. And because of that, I saw you around, and then I saw in workplace where you put on about come on and have a chat. And I thought it was great, because I've been fortunate to go to Big Local Connects. Obviously that went, but when you go to Big Local Connects, you're so busy trying to attend the workshops that you want to go and attend, that benefits where you're coming from in your area, that you sort of have snapshots of just seeing people. But when I saw you saying people want to connect,
Yeah.
and the way it came around was, not only were you doing the podcasts, but you were also quite happy to meet up and have a chat and have a conversation. So I think that was what made it more personable and more easy for me to approach you, because it wasn't just a generic thing. It seemed more natural. So when I contacted you and said, was there any way that you would be able to maybe feature some of our people up here? It was a great way to connect with other areas that we might not have been able to. So I think that's one of the positives that will come out of COVID, that where before we knew there was another 149 areas, but now because of all the workers' events, the events that's on, and your podcasts, it means that when we come out of the other side, we actually do have a proper connection of big locals. So when we go to Big Local Connects, or people will know, are they from Gaunless Gateway? You know what I mean? There's so many people now that you're going to recognise, and I just think it's better. But I think the fact that you were able to do the podcast for us meant that we could get our story out further. So much so, then I said this to you, that we are going to put them into our 5-year plan, so people can click on and they can see them, and we shared them on social media. I shared them all across our network. but they're going in our plan. And so even when our legacy project comes around, what goes on, these are always going to be part of a really heavy time, but they're also going to capture the actual community of Big Local and how it connects everyone together. So for that, we are extremely grateful.
Yeah, I really enjoy helping you guys as well. And I would ask you this. We're obviously meeting your group on the 20th of April. Would you like to leave them a message on this podcast today? Just tell them something encouraging, maybe to do a podcast as well.
Oh, I have numerous people who would love a podcast. I got numerous people. So no, you're gonna come and you're gonna talk at one of our, well, when in person, it used to be a full partnership monthly meeting, where now it's sort of gone on a Zoom, anybody's invited, but we always have a community spot. And on that community spot, you are going to actually come and you're going to talk about how you came around to do your podcasts and the benefit that you've brought to others. And I think that's good to have your perspective from the person behind the mic sort of thing. I think it's good to have both perspectives, not just the people who you're interviewing, but also your journey as well. So that to me, it's going to be great for everyone to get to see you.
Yeah, so what have you been doing as a Big Local at the moment during COVID?
We have been responding like a lot of people, lots of changes going on at the moment. We are on hold. We've got a youth initiative going up at West Auckland, and that was because the way our area is, it's quite vast. A lot of different villages and a very top of a town, and a lot of things go on in different areas. And in the beginning, a lot of the areas, like everybody, sort of wanted to build up their own area, and then now they realise that the benefit to do it is to do it all together and tap into what's already there. So they've already had street games. They were on Woodhouse Close, and that was really, really successful. That's going ahead of West Auckland. That's going to be replicated, and we've been supporting with that. But also, Auckland Youth and Community Centre are amazing. They've got a great team, works inside the building, but they've also got detached youth workers. All the community centres around where all the children's activities were on, every government funding cuts, different things. Buildings were all just not being able to be fit for purpose no more. So what's happened was there's a West Auckland club. It's upstairs, has been checked out. It's all great. It's going to be sectioned off and it's going to be used for young people. So that's on hold. We funded 12,000 pounds into that, and it would have been up and running if COVID hadn't gone full steam ahead and closed it down. So as soon as things start getting back to normal, AYCC are going to be going in and they're going to be supporting. So the staff there have been out asking what the children in West Auckland want to do, seeing how it goes. The street games going on. We've been involved with just on setting up a supporting a group of residents of West Auckland also. They were concerned about, for one, antisocial behaviour in the area, but also just getting back to basic with a community group who are looking at not the problems, but they want to find the solutions. So we offering a little bit of meeting support, admin support. So hopefully that'll all connect in together as well and make it a really good thing that's going on. So also there's different mental health groups that we've been supporting, the food banks we've been supporting. There's lots and lots of positive things, and I think, like all areas coming out of this, the government hopefully will be addressing the way things are looked at, because it's obvious that the people who stepped up immediately were all volunteers. And I think that is going to be really in the forefront of everyone's mind going forward. The community is really wanting to be recognised and listened to. So me and Barbara, my colleague, we encourage everybody, and we also attend a lot of the groups in regards to the advocacy panel with local trust, if I can say the word, trying to support in any way possible to get our area's voice heard, which is another thing that you would hear about what went in London before and the government, and you sort of felt quite disconnected. But because of COVID, now you can tap into all these different groups and feel like you can put forward what's going on, what's happening in our area, tell them about the stories of what the volunteers have done, what the organisations are doing, what the groups are doing. And it sort of means that we feel like we're not forgotten as much, or not forgotten, but maybe it's not recognised as much, because before we maybe couldn't be heard. But the power of Zoom and Teams and all these different platforms now has made life a lot different. And I know people get where they really get tired of the Zoom at times, because it's not the same as face to face, and it isn't. But on the other hand, the connection now that we've got with around the country, it's an amazing thing that's come out of it. So it has enabled communities to reach further than they've ever done before. So
Yeah. You talk about connecting people together. How are you thinking of connecting people together, like in the future?
well, hopefully with what's going on in the areas, we've got lots of mental health groups. There's different things happening, and they are trying to make sure that everyone is joined in together. We are very much for, as Barbara, my colleague, will keep saying, it's about joining the dots, raising awareness, making sure that other people know what's going on in the area. I had a lovely email when I've gone on this morning, and it's about one group, Weir Valley Community Action. They'd seen a post on social media saying how Woodhouse Close Church Community Centre were in desperate need of toiletries. So they went over, they had some that they weren't using because the events weren't on, and they emailed to say, great, we saw this on social media, we've headed over and took some over. And for us, that is one of the really important things, is to make sure everyone gets connected and keeps in touch. We have at the moment as well, and we're really proud of it, is Trades for Care. We've been supporting them. They are an organisation group who help young people. So when people are going to college, they maybe wouldn't have got the opportunity to go into a work placement with full wraparound support. They might have had a day's work here or gone in, but this gives them the whole wraparound. They get mentoring, they get outfits to wear so they can attend work, the tutoring all the way through, they get one-to-one support, but they go into proper community buildings and they do it start to finish of the project. And a lot of the people have gone on to gain employment. So we are really keen with the promotion and support and financial support to enable this to keep growing and growing, because if someone is invested in when they're younger, they'll go on, and whether it's they get a job or they start up their own little company, it's all about making our area a better place to live, and it encourages other young people that there's opportunities out there and anything can be achieved if you get the right support. So lots going on.
Yeah. And do you think people are connecting together at the moment, even though we're in lockdown? Do you think it's going really well?
For us, we are busier than ever. And I was just talking to somebody the other day about this, because some days we can have 3 meetings, 5 meetings, you seem to go back-to-back meetings with Zoom or Teams. But in real life, you don't have that luxury, and it's really going to be about slotting it back in together, because in real life, whatever that may, what we remember of it, you would head to a meeting, then you would get there, you would have your meeting, and then you would leave, but then you would have, so you'd have like half hour each way to get there, get back, and then you'd book one for, well, because with Zoom and Teams, you tend to be back to back to back to back, you end up all these meetings really condensed into the same time that you had before. So going back into real world, I think if anything, we're going to be having to go back to spacing things out a bit, because we're so used to saying, I'll contact you in Zoom and I'll ring you. So for us, yes, people are connected, but there's still a lot of people out there who aren't comfortable being online. They don't like it, and they miss the one-to-one, being in the room. And especially with volunteers, people like to go out to volunteer. They don't always want to be online. They go to volunteer somewhere because they want the interaction. So, like everything, online is good and being connected is good, but people do like the face-to-face, I think, of being
Yeah.
together.
And how are you hoping, even say we're still in lockdown, but we are allowed to go out a little bit, how are you hoping to do stuff which are not online but safe? How are you hoping to do stuff outdoors?
Well, hopefully, if the weather holds, we have groups who uh, we've condensed a lot of our working groups. We used to have a lot more working groups, but because of the way that, especially it's responded through COVID, everyone hasn't gone to a working group to discuss things as much. They've just sort of, the decision makers have got the project proposal, they've decided, and they've come online. So that now is, our groups have been condensed down. So there's lots of scope really for having walking group meetings, and meetings that maybe can be a bit more informal, instead of the agendas having to be so structured. Yes, it's great that you take your minutes and you have an idea of what you want, but I think COVID has shown to a lot of people that you can be flexible, and it doesn't have to be so, let's sit round a table meeting. It'd be nice just for people to say, right, I've got a crime and community safety one or a neighbourhood watch one. Well, come and walk around where we live. Let's show you the area, and bring people from other areas, one village to the other village. Get to know your neighbours, because the more you get to know your neighbours, the more you'll see that everyone's
What
actually
connections you get?
different location, but they've all got the same issues that they're trying to find solutions for.
And the
So
more connections you get as well.
yeah, and I think outside, it's, I don't know, people will want to be outdoors more. I don't think people will want to, after being stifled, being indoors and online, I don't think they'll be so keen just to go straight back inside for meetings all in a physical space. I think they will want to be outdoors, and I think we've got such as Daisy Arts and different ones who have responded, and they've done a lot of things with the children online, but outdoors. And the boxing club, they've still, Bishop Auckland Boxing Club, we funded them bags inside, their boxing bags, but they've been doing things outside. So I think a lot of people will still push to keep people outside a lot, because especially at the moment, people's mental health is really drained and stressed. And of course, digital poverty comes into it, where not everyone can be online, or because of people working at home, a lot of them are wanting the same device. So people have gone back to old school outdoors, and I think this is going to be definitely the way forward, is to keep people outside as much as possible where they can.
Well, you told us some experiences, but I was going to ask you what experiences you may have. But it seems like you already gave some, unless you have some that I missed out.
Well, I think for me, the outdoors is something that's definitely the way forward. Because from someone who's been on Zoom now for a year, I miss the seeing people, and I miss the fun and the laughter. that you don't always get on Zoom meetings. So to go back into a formal meeting, I think a lot of people, even though ours weren't really formal in a sense that they were really stuffy, they were still quite nice and relaxed. But I definitely think going forward it'll be can we go outside and have a walk around? And I think everyone's going to want to continue with the appreciation of the great outdoors where we can. We're very fortunate where we live is we have a lot of green space, lots and lots of green space. So I think a lot of people won't want to be sitting inside community buildings. I think they'll want to probably go around and see what's in the local areas.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to mention that I missed out about Gaunless Gateway, or anything that I missed out going on?
No, I think for us it has been. I'm very proud of the job that I've got, and I know people say that, and it's easy to say, but it hasn't. I have had a year where the experience I've had is there's a lot of people has been under a lot of pressure, but there's so many things that has made me proud of our area, other big locals. When you hear about what's going on in other big locals, so proud. So I think for me, if I was raising the flag for Gaunless Gateway, I would say I was proud of everybody, how they've come together and how everyone is respectful of other people. There's so many people didn't know other people existed before COVID. So now I think that is one of the things going forward. Everyone does seem to know more about the other people around, and they've highlighted and they've championed other people, other groups, other organisations, and signposted in quicker. So I think for me, that's one thing I would say. But also, as I say, for me, such like this, the opportunity to speak to other big locals, such as yourself, and I must admit, great respect for you. You have been amazing. Hosting these. So for us, ours is flying the flag for Gaunless is just, I'm very, very proud to be in the job that I have, and going forward, I'll continue with till they get rid of me. hopefully, hopefully at the end of the 5-year plan. But who knows? That our job is not about us. Our job is about volunteers and make sure that people are getting the voice heard, to be able to the £1 million to be spent on things to enable the community to do it. Mine and my colleagues' job are not important, even though we are an employability project ourselves. But when we gone, we are a tiny, tiny fraction of what's gone on. It's everybody else, what they are doing. That is going to be what is going to be our flying the flag for us. It's the other people.
Yeah, that's good. And what's your message to the community, and maybe to Gaunless Gateway as well, your team?
For me, is just to continue going forward and valuing what we've got, and when we come out of COVID, keep the partnership strengthened and not to forget that each other's there. I think, you know what I mean, we've come together, and through support we are stronger. And I think it's to recognise that we don't have to come out of it and go back to maybe it's been disconnected. I think for us, the strength is to make sure that we all together in it and continue going forward, because the aim of all communities is to make it a better place to live. And the best thing to do with that is to listen to the residents, listen to the community, a partnership or whatever, because without their input from the first instance, they are not going to get into it. After that, you need to make sure and continue that you ask what they want first, and don't impose your views. Always ask, because it's the people who are living and have the lived experience are the ones who will carry it forward. So
Yeah, and I would also like to say thank you from me and Heston West and the team for helping me get the guests in the last minute. That's really appreciated. Um, also, finally, I thought of this. We are doing a community garden in 2022 in the spring. Would you like to help us put it all together, the community garden?
More explanation, please, tell me more.
We are doing, a community garden to bring communities together, like in a garden with. I think it will have a cafe. It'll be, I think, near Heathrow, if I got the correct. Um, it'll be near Heathrow area, and we need people to help us to make the garden look good. And I think we're gonna have a little theatre in there as well. So hopefully.
So I take it we're gonna have some ideas, tapping into different ideas and sharing ideas, and then
Yeah.
when you have the theatre, I'm expecting a recording sent over via Zoom so we can be sharing it
Well,
across our platforms.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a performance from hers.
I bet he's really going to be grateful for that, Tarek. Actually, I might be keen to be sharing some of my tips on gardening, because from when I've been at home more, I've never gardened at all, ever. Anyway, my whole house at the moment is full. I'm growing pea pods, leeks, onions. All my windowsills are full. Well, I've decided this year I am actually taking up gardening myself. I started last year, I did outside, so it's surprising. So you never know, as time goes on, I'll maybe be able to share some of my gardening myself.
Yeah. So, would you like to help us that come down to the community garden in 2022 near Heathrow, I guess? Would you like to support us with that?
I think online we can support where we can, and I'm sure that we have some decision makers who would love to do a road trip to another big local. I think this is definitely something that will be explored further.
Yeah. I know I've asked you this again. I asked you this before, but would you like to come along to the 1 year anniversary of the community podcast? Can you believe it's 1 year?
I know. Yes, I am definitely going to be attending.
Yeah.
And I have also asked the other people who did podcasts to attend, so they're hoping to be on. Man Health also launched, it's their big day for a huge launch of something, so he said he doesn't think he'll be able to get on, but he said he is happy to view the recording if you're going to record the session, and he will look, because he really enjoyed the conversation he had with you when you recorded it, and he said he
Yeah.
definitely once kept updated, so he said he would love if you recorded it and you were able to share it if you can't attend, but he has got the
What I'm
invite.
also planning to do, if people can't really make it on the Pacific Day, I'm thinking, because it's a Sunday, the anniversary, I'm thinking of doing the people who missed it. Just, I wouldn't say a big gathering. I'll do another small gathering for people who missed it on Monday. On the Monday, because I think Sunday, like anyone, like some people can't come. So yeah, so I look forward to that. Thank you for joining me today, Susan.
Yep, and thank you for your time and Taz's. It's much appreciated.
This is Big Local Talks, and goodbye.
Bye.